What I wanted to feature today as far as a devotional for you is out of Job 29. And Job 29 is a favorite passage for me out of the scripture because Job was actually one of the most anointed people on the face of the earth. And he tells us why. He says in verse 12, because I delivered the poor who cried for help and the orphan who had no helper. And it begins to say how he became not only a voice, but a rescuer of those who couldn't help themselves. And I want to talk today about being a voice for the voiceless, especially in the area of those who suffer with special needs, challenges mentally, physically, emotionally. And you know, oftentimes, even in the church, those people with such challenges are overlooked. They're avoided. They're even rejected. And I think that love says that we need to reach out to them. I want to share a testimony of what we did in Cambodia, because special needs children are actually at risk for being sold to traffickers. Many of the special needs children, they are sold for sex, sold for traffickers because they don't see value in them. And as most of you know, our story of little Johnny, we rescued him. He has a form of autism, and because of all the trauma that he lived under for 10 years of his life as he was sold back and forth to traffickers and used for slave labor and sex trade, that he has a lot of issues. But he is our little boy now, and he is fully in our custody. He has been for a few years, and we have been nurturing him. And he is in school. He had not attended school until he was 12 years of age, and then we put him in school, homeschooled him because of his needs. And in 1 year, he had higher grades than the average person of his age group who had been in school their whole lives. And the other little special needs child that we have in our care, who we've adopted, is little Esther. And Esther, she's a Down syndrome child and absolutely beautiful. And she has such destiny on the inside of her and brings so much joy to so many people. But she was a damaged little girl, had been sold by her own grandmother for sex. When we got her, she had burn marks on her. She was damaged all inside and outside of her body because of the horrible things that were done to her in the sex trade. And so we were able to rescue her, and she's now our little girl. And Johnny's teaching her school because they are like brother and sister. They're in the same home, and they have a beautiful family life together now because they were cared for, because someone would be a voice for them. We became their voice. They didn't have a voice for themselves. In fact, literally, Johnny was tongue-tied. He couldn't talk, had not talked his whole life until he came to us. He talks now. And little Esther, because she was Down syndrome, in Cambodia, they don't let Down syndrome's children speak. They're not allowed to. So she had never spoken, but now she speaks in 2 languages, Khmer and English. And so we're so proud of both of these children. But as far as being a voice, we went even beyond caring for them and enjoying them and letting them have this most amazing life. And their testimonies alone are transforming nations and people. You know, it's just amazing how God has used them. They have so much value. But we started praying for the people in Cambodia to change their mindset, because they needed to change their thinking about special needs children. These little children, they couldn't speak for themselves, and special needs adults. They don't have a voice that would be heard. So we started being a voice, first of all, in prayer. And we started praying that God would change the attitude of the whole nation. And so we get a call from the Prime Minister's office one day, a number of months back. And they said, you know, the Prime Minister has heard about Johnny and Esther. And he wants to address the nation, because the nation has some cruel mindsets about special needs children, children with challenges, and we want to change the nation's mindset. So they said, could we invite Johnny and Esther to be platformed with the Prime Minister as he gives this national address to the whole nation through media? And of course, we agreed, and Johnny and Esther got to be with the Prime Minister as he addressed the nation, and things are changing now. And so just by being a voice, just the voice that we had, just a voice of love, to love the children, to let them know that they were special, and a voice in prayer changed everything. And so I want us to pray about how we can be a voice for the voiceless. You know, one of the people groups that is really abused right now is the elderly abuse. And there's so much of it going on, and we don't even know about it. Some of them right now are being beaten or mistreated, or they're having their money taken from them, and they're being deceived. We need to be a voice for them. Many of them are in homes and can't be a voice for themselves. And I think it begins, first of all, being a voice in prayer, and then going out and looking for a way that we can be a greater voice. And so I want to encourage you to pray about how you can be a voice for the voiceless, how you can celebrate someone's life that needs to be celebrated, and that you would look around you and see those who have been rejected or not even paid any attention to at all for whatever reason, and go and show them the love of Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. I know you're going to do it. God bless you.